Love music, love talk, love Wycombe Sound.
Monday Movies on Wycombe Sound 106.6 FM.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. How are we?
A couple of things before we dive into
housekeeping.
A bit of housekeeping. I'm still probably weird camera frame rate out of sync.
Not so bad, actually.
Not really?
No. Not so bad.
Not bad? Okay.
Quite close.
It just looks very, bit not very smooth on my computer.
That's just what you look like.
Right, okay. And also no background this week because I've given up hope with it because it just kept making Tobi's face disappear very slowly. So it's just grey and boring, but we'll sort it for next week.
Again, that's you.
Thanks.
Anyway, hello.
There's the housekeeping ended.
Oh, good. Hi.
Hi, how are we?
How is everyone?
Oh, good, thanks. How are you?
Good.
I'm okay. I've just come back from protesting. I'm all good.
Have you?
Yep.
What were you protesting?
I was pulling down a statue of Ronald McDonald that is up in a little town just around the corner from here because apparently those potatoes he uses for fries didn't go willingly.
Right, okay.
And I'm just shocked and horrified that we should celebrate someone like that. So I pulled down the golden arches and I have knocked down Ronald McDonald.
Right.
There you go. What have you been up to?
Well, nothing as exciting as that.
Oh, well, get out there, pull something down, protest.
Okay. Can I protest against you?
Yes. What would your motto be?
Get rid of Duncan.
Catchy, quite like it. Quite like it.
Short and simple.
Grod.
Grod.
You can even acronym it.
Grod.
Grod.
We hate Duncan. Yeah.
All right, it's going a little bit too far now.
Okay, sorry.
Duncan's life matters.
Does it?
All right, yeah, it does.
Tobias?
I haven't really done anything.
Sorry, can I just ask, is your name actually Tobias?
Yes.
On your birth certificate?
Yes.
What's your middle name?
Alexander.
Hey!
Whoa, Tobias Alexander.
Mine's Luke Alexander.
Yeah. Oh,
is it?
Yeah, we've had this conversation before.
We have.
Yeah.
Okay. Move on then.
Me and Duncan high-fived over it. What's yours?
Let's not, Alan.
Oh yeah. Fat man. What was it? I can't remember
his name.
Yeah, something like that. I can't remember what Toby said. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
Lovely. I'm sure it was.
Duncan.
Alan. Strip.
I'm glad we brought that up. Well done, whoever started that.
What a laugh. Anyway, welcome to a podcast from your friendly neighbourhood film geeks. We're all here, raring to go.
Yeah.
Monday nights.
Woo! Week 11 of Monday Night Movies.
Yeah.
What's coming up?
What's coming up? Oh, thank you for taking the lead, Toby. What is coming up is my Tom Hanks top 10.
Oh, exciting.
What we've been watching.
Forrest Gump's in there.
So do I. And
crossed, everybody.
And Toy Story. Better be in there.
What we've been watching, which we've all been watching things.
We have.
For a change. Yeah. And we'll take a look at cinemas reopening. Now, yeah.
Good.
Sorry.
Do you have nothing else to end?
I was going to do the end of the show bit then.
Oh, no, not yet.
Okay, so and we'll take a look at cinemas plans for reopening.
Ooh.
Yeah, exciting stuff.
Very exciting. Good.
Well, you didn't sound excited. But...
Yeah. I've lost all excitement has been depleted out of me over the last 11 weeks.
I did see on Facebook that you were eating giant scones and putting the jam and the cream on the wrong way around.
Oh, don't you start. I don't care.
It wasn't me, it was my other half who just showed me the picture and goes, "Can you believe this?" Sorry, what was that? Oh yes, you see, that's
in Australia. Is that the way they have it round?
Is that the way you have it in Australia?
I told you the reason, and you agreed.
He told me the reason, and I agreed. Can you just shout the reason one more time quickly?
Because jam is like a sticking agent, so it sticks to the scone better than cream. Cream you just dollop on, but jam would stick. Because if you put jam on the top of cream, it's got nothing to stick to, so it slides off.
And now he'll be really annoyed when I tell him that that's going to be live on the podcast.
Yeah. And for more delicious food, Clinton's Cakes on Facebook.
Yeah. But he's right. Because the jam sticks to the scone and then the cream can plop onto the jam.
I'm going to make it even worse because I do it differently every time I have a scone.
Oh, you monster!
As long as
Absolute monster.
here's my rule for a scone: lots of cream, lots of jam. Don't care in which order.
To be honest, knowing you and how you like your food, I'm surprised you don't just put half a scone in your mouth, a spoonful of jam, and some squirty cream.
Oh no, you can't have squirty cream.
Oh, okay.
It has to be clotted.
Oh, does it? Okay.
Yeah. Toby, you'd like to weigh in on the scone stick?
Honestly, I can't even remember what
A scone
I
is.
put down first. No, what I put down first.
What came first, the scone or the jam?
Oh, nice. Or the cream or the jam, surely.
Well, it's the cream or jam. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
Duncan.
can't remember.
Come on. If you're going to do a joke, do it properly.
Are we actually going to sit here and wait for him to remember which way he does it? Because this is fascinating radio.
I honestly, I can't remember. I want to
Think of it.
say-
You've got a scone in front of you. You've got cream to the left, jam to the
I
right.
probably put cream on first.
It's like butter, isn't it? It's like the butter
Probably put
of.
cream on.
Sorry, can you just do that again? Can
What?
you just say what you said again? Because I was desperately trying to think of something and it came too late. Say it
Right.
again. You've got a scone in front of you.
You've got a scone in front of you. You've got jam on the left of you. Joke
No,
to
you
the
keep
right.
going.
No, okay.
No.
Sorry.
Start
That's-
again.
That's the joke I thought you were going to do.
No.
Right. You've got a scone in front of you. You've got jam on the left, cream on the right.
Stuck in the middle with you.
I did the joke too early. Okay, nice. I think mine was better.
I just couldn't think of the song. I
Right.
was thinking,
Okay. My
I
version
remember
was
an
better.
ear being cut off, but I couldn't remember what the song was.
Right, okay.
Oh, Toby, I don't give a damn how you do your scone. I'm lost the will
Brilliant.
to live.
Look-
Just
Lovely.
start the show.
Oh, we haven't. I thought we already started.
Not the show.
Oh.
We've got a show to do.
Oh, of course we do. Yeah.
Sorry, how many weeks have we been doing this?
Let's just start.
Go.
It's 7 o'clock. It's Monday evening. A very good evening. Welcome to Monday Movies here on Wycombe Sound 106.6 FM. I'm Duncan Strip, joined as ever by Toby Stubbs and Luke Davis.
Hello.
Hello.
How are we all in week 3,524 of lockdown?
Oh, living the life.
Okay.
Yeah, all good?
All right.
Yeah.
Try and sound a bit more cheerful, please, Luke. You were fine on drive time, and now you've just gone. Boo.
I have no energy left for your show. I'm sorry.
Okay, fine. Toby, still looking. Are we calling this blonde your hair, or are we changing it to now sheer and ginger?
It's like strawberry blonde.
Yeah.
Oh, strawberry blonde. Okay,
Yeah.
good. But,
But it's. I'm going to probably try and go back.
okay,
To my normal hair colour. I think.
okay.
How long do you think that's going to take?
I don't know.
You could just shave it all off and start again.
Yes.
The problem is, I thought about it, but the problem is, I mean, it would take about 9 months for my hair to grow back. That's the
And
problem.
what would you do about your beard? Because
Well,
you'd
I'd
have
have
to,
to keep
would
it,
you
otherwise-
would you keep it or would you just have no hair?
Oh no, you keep the
I look
beard.
like- no. I look like an egg.
Yeah, you'd have to keep the beard if you shave. You'd have to keep the beard if you shave the hair.
No.
Exactly.
Anyway, welcome to Fashion and Beauty on Wycombe Sound, a new program because we have no films to talk about. No, not really. We do have films to talk about. On this evening's show, we're going to take a look at my top 10. I've chosen an actor's top 10. Luckily, unlike last week, I picked an actor who has made more than 10 films, so I was able to pick 10 films. We've got what we've been watching, which will include Alex Rider, Jack Ryan, Space Force, Ozark, Maleficent, Men in Black, all sorts of stuff.
Wow.
Packed. And we'll also take a look at what's being released on DVD and on streaming services this week. And in the film news, we'll look at how Cineworld view Empire and Odeon are looking to open cinemas again in 4 weeks' time.
You seem to be currently.
That's 4 weeks.
4 weeks' time. You seem to be
Yes.
currently being slightly. Well, you're half Duncan, half Tom Hanks.
Oh, I've moved in front of Tom Hanks. Look, there you go. Tom Hanks.
Hi Tom, how are
Hanks-
you?
Tom Hanks in a denim shirt.
That really works quite well.
We've given that away now because my top 10, which we will start with, is Tom Hanks. If you've been watching anything and you want to let us know, or if you want to disagree with anything in my Tom Hanks top 10, I dare you.
Go on, please do.
You can email mondaymovies@wycombesound.org.uk. Go to facebook.com/WixoMondayMovies. We're on Twitter at Wycombe Sound, or you can WhatsApp us on 01494 449900.
And we're live on Facebook and YouTube right now.
Hi, everybody.
So weekly apologies for Toby's blue highlights in his beard, and I might be slightly out of sync.
But that's just you.
That's just me.
So should we kick off with Tom Hanks' top 10?
What is
Let's do it.
number 10, Duncan?
My number 10 is actually the first film I ever saw Tom Hanks in, which is, I think it was his second film, Bachelor Party.
Oh, okay.
So this is a film about him throwing a bachelor party for his friends. It's not something you kind of associate with Tom Hanks. It's sort of raunchy and slapstick, and it's like a proper 80s frat boy comedy with lots of sight gags and lots of rudeness, shall we say.
Okay.
Was this one of his first roles?
I think it's his second film, so he was very young when he made this. But I haven't seen it for years and years and years, but I remember laughing out loud when I first saw this. And when you see it, he's a force of nature in it, and you kind of, as you watch it, you think he's going to be a big star because he was so good in it. So, yeah, I saw this before he was the Tom Hanks everybody knows. He was just a jobbing actor. But yeah, it's very good. I don't know if it's easy to get hold of, but it's worth catching if you like kind of Blues Brothers, that kind of comedy.
Right, okay.
It's like that. It's
Very
good.
nice. What is this week's number 9 on your list
this week's
of
number.
favourite actors? Wait for me to finish. Come on.
Number 9 is The Burbs. So this is an 80s film from Joe Dante, the director of Gremlins. And it's a satire horror comedy set in the suburbs, the burbs of the title, where Tom Hanks is bored. He's got a week off. He's married to Carrie Fisher. He's got nothing to do during this week. So he starts to think that his neighbours, who have strange foreign accents, are Nazis and they are torturing people in their basement. And he gets all the local neighbours and his friends together to spy on them to try and prove that they've got something dodgy in their basement. Again, it's another one of his
Wow, what a
early-
film.
It's absolutely brilliant. If you like Gremlins and that kind of Joe Dante stuff, it's really good. It's very funny. It's got some great set pieces. He's very good. Carrie Fisher is in it. Corey Haim is in it. Bruce Dern. It's got a great cast. It's well worth watching. It's very good.
Okay.
Yes.
Nice.
You've seen neither of these. Please let me know when you've seen one of
Okay,
these.
will
won't
do.
you?
Okay,
I
well,
mean, it is Tom Hanks.
When do
I
we get to Toy
assumed-
Story?
We'll see.
Number 8.
Number 8, Sleepless in Seattle. So in the 90s, he became famous basically for doing romantic comedies.
Yeah.
He did an awful lot of romantic comedies. 4 of them, I think, were with Meg Ryan. I've got one other of his films with Meg Ryan in the top 10. But Sleepless in Seattle is probably the most famous and probably the best. If you haven't seen it, he is a widower living on one side of the country. She is a single woman living on the other side of the country. He phones into a radio phone-in show, calls himself Sleepless in Seattle because he wants to find a wife so that his son can grow up with a mother, and they arrange to meet. So they don't actually meet, Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks, until the very end of the film in the famous scene on the Empire State Building. But it's wonderful. It's written by Nora Ephron, who did When Harry Met Sally and loads of stuff. I can't remember the other stuff she's done, but she was a really good
She's
writer.
really great. I just
director.
can't remember anything she's ever done.
She did loads
Great,
of stuff.
love her.
It is very funny. It's very sweet, and it's very, very romantic.
Good.
You've seen this one, haven't you?
I'm pretty sure I've seen it, yeah.
Maybe.
Number 7, Mr. Strip, of your favourite top 10 Tom Hanks films.
Number 7 is Saving Private Ryan.
Yes, I've seen
Seen
this.
this. Seen this.
Wow. Oh, good. So, what did you think, Toby?
Absolutely loved it. I thought the brutality of it was. I mean, it was like one of the first war films I think I ever watched properly. But I just remember the scene on the beach, and I thought the acting was incredible, and it really was such a great film. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't seen it for years, but I remember watching it and thinking it was absolutely incredible.
It holds up very well. I've seen it not too long ago, and it is really good. I remember it moaning.
Moaning?
The reason
Do you remember it moaning?
The reason I remember it quite vividly is because at the time I was living in St Albans, and a lot of it was filmed in an old airfield in St Albans. So the town at the end where they have to actually save Private Ryan was built on an old airfield, and as you drove down the road, you could stop your car, look over the fence, and you could see this town.
Have you always worked and lived near places where they built sets? Is that when you look, when you go, well, I'm going to live here, they need to be building sets nearby?
Yes, they need to film something while I'm here. Yes, they have to. But yes, it's really good. The only thing that spoils it, the only thing that stops it being kind of a perfect film is the opening and the ending. The bookends where it's all very soppy, where he's going as an old person to the grave, and then the whole film is told in flashback, and then you go back to him. That's the only thing that spoils it for me. It didn't need that. Very schmaltzy, very American. But apart from that, absolutely brilliant.
You loved it. Yes?
I did. I loved it.
Good.
I think you might have lost me for a little bit there, and
I'm sure it's fine. Don't worry about it. Hello? Is everything okay?
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
For me, yes.
Good, right.
I've got to admit, your mouth is moving, Luke, but I can't see. Oh, what's happening?
I have no idea. This week's number 6.
Oh dear.
Number 6, Captain Phillips, the true story of the captain of an American vessel that was taken hostage by Somali pirates. It was directed by Paul Greengrass, who made the second two, the Bourne films. And it's just a fantastic performance. It's got a scene right at the end, if you've seen it, where he's sitting and he starts to cry. It's a kind of a 2-minute wordless scene, which I think he deserved an Oscar for, just for that one scene. And he wasn't even Oscar nominated for this, but it's moving, it's thrilling, it's a true story. It's just a great film.
It's just a great film.
It's on my list
Of
films to see.
Oh crikey, that list is so long. I'm not going to hold my breath, Toby.
What list did you think it was going to be on?
List of my favourite films of all time or something. I don't know. Maybe I thought maybe you had a different list.
Right.
No,
okay.
You just got this.
No.
Films that Duncan's told me to watch that I've not seen yet.
Yeah.
To be fair, it's a very long list. But it is one of the starred ones, should I say?
There are starred ones on your list.
Yeah, priorities. Yeah, no,
Okay.
I really want to see this film, and everyone who has seen it, out of my friends and everything, they said it's absolutely phenomenal. And my dad is a huge fan of this film as well, so need to see it.
Evening, Dave.
Yes.
Right, we're halfway through. What is number 5?
Well, number 5 was either going to be Splash or Big.
Right.
I picked Splash.
Why?
Right. Because I think it was a really sweet film, and it's a PG, and it's quite risque for a PG. If you watch it now, there are scenes in it. I'm pretty sure if it was made now, it would be a 12 or a 15, because there are some scenes in it that are a little bit near the knuckle. But it's a very sweet kind of modern version of The Little Mermaid. People keep saying they're going to try and make a modern version of The Little Mermaid. Well, Splash is kind of it. Daryl Hannah is the mermaid who falls in love with Tom Hanks, and he loves her back, and she gets, finds her feet, as it were. But it's a genuinely very funny film. John Candy in it as Tom Hanks' brother is really, really funny. It's just a classic. And it was that or Big, and they came out sort of the same time.
Question.
Tell me what you think about me.
What you think about me?
Yes. Is Little Mermaid on Disney's list of things to remake?
Yes, they are remaking it as we speak. Well, not as we speak, but they were doing it.
Because I'm worried that might look terrible. Just going on what Aquaman did when it was all, because it's going to be a lot of it's going to be set underwater.
Yes,
they're going to have. It's going to be interesting to see what they do. Yeah, because she's a mermaid. Yeah,
she's a mermaid. Yeah. Anyway, so Splash number 5.
Number 4.
The Green Mile.
Seen this.
The Stephen King adaptation based on his book. It's a very long film. It's I think it's over 3 hours long. Tom Hanks plays the prison guard guarding a new prisoner who seems to have some kind of magical powers. And rather like The Shawshank Redemption, which is based on a Stephen King short story, it's not a Stephen King horror. It's more of it's slight fantasy, but it's more of a morality tale, shall we say. Yes, that's what it is. And it's very moving, considering it's about people being electrocuted on death row. It's an incredibly moving film.
I agree. I haven't seen it since I watched it, but I do remember it being very powerful, and especially the ending.
Yes.
Really, really good film.
Yes, Luke.
No,
What do you
Talking-
mean,
sorry.
no?
it's on my list.
Bit
Oh,
of a,
crikey!
bit of a left turn. Sorry, while we're talking about Stephen King,
Mm.
did he? There's a new series of Jason Bateman called The Outsider. Is that Stephen King novel?
Yes,
Yes. Okay.
but
No,
if you're watching,
Are you sure about that?
Yes, I am. If you're watching it because Jason Bateman is your favourite actor, and I know the trailer has a lot of Jason Bateman in it. Jason Bateman is only in it for part of the first episode, and then he's not in it anymore. So he's not the star of the show.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, Ben Mendelsohn is the star.
Right. Okay.
Jason Bateman has a pivotal role, but he's only in the first episode.
I like Ben. I think
Interesting.
he's very good.
You like Ben Mendelsohn?
Yeah.
Yes, he's very good. He's Australian, you know.
He is Australian. I did know that. Yes.
Who'd have thunk it?
I know.
Anyway, Green Mile, number 4.
Number 3.
The Road to Perdition. So this is Sam Mendes' film. He made Spectre and Skyfall
And 1917.
and
Sir
1917.
Sam.
This was his film, which had a fantastic cast. The two leads were Tom Hanks and Paul Newman, and it also had Daniel Craig in a supporting role. This is where Sam Mendes met Daniel Craig and obviously had him in mind when he came to the Bond film. It's an old-fashioned 1920s gangster film. Very dark, really stylish. From a filmmaking point of view, Luke,
Yes.
I think you would like it.
Okay.
The lighting, the direction, the art design is all fantastic, but it's also a really good story. It's just very, very old-fashioned, and it's about an old mob boss kind of getting his comeuppance, and Tom Hanks is the man stuck between the old boss and the new boss. It's very, very good.
It sounds very good. I shall.
It's a very little
I'll
scene.
add that to my list.
Add that to your list. It's a very little scene Tom Hanks film, but it is honestly one of his best, and it's so good to see Tom Hanks, who is now acting royalty where we are now.
Yeah.
He wasn't back then. He was just, he was famous, but he wasn't as big as he is now, acting alongside Paul Newman, who was, of course, Hollywood royalty from the 50s and 60s.
I feel like you've already answered this question, but what would you say was his defining role, unless you're going to say it in like 2 seconds with number 2 or 1?
Who?
Tom Hanks.
Defining role?
Yeah, like the one where everyone went, oh, okay, yeah, he's going
I think it was Splash or Big.
Do you think so?
They were his, yes.
Okay.
They were the ones where people went, he's a star.
He's a star.
Yes. He's a star.
Who's a star? Number 3?
Two. Number two is Apollo 13.
Haven't seen this yet.
No, I haven't.
Sometimes I wonder why you two are on this programme.
Entertainment.
I really do. So this is the story of Apollo 13. Kevin Bacon, Bill Paxton, Tom Hanks going into space. Spoiler, they make it back.
What?
But it's thrilling. It's directed by Ron Howard. It's the true story of the Apollo 13 mission that kind of went wrong, and they had to get back in their space capsule. And considering it's all contained in one small area for the most of the film, it's fantastic, and especially as most people know the outcome of the film because it's historical fact.
Yeah.
It's a thrilling ride. It's absolutely brilliant. This is one of the first films where actors and directors went up in the what's called the vomit comet, where they go up so they can experience weightlessness. I think this is one of the first films where actors and directors did that
on the plane,
so that they could actually film in weightless conditions. Yeah, it's very good. Why don't you both add this to your list?
You know what?
I will.
I'm going to add this to my list.
Good. Okay. Good. Moving on.
And finally, number 1.
Now, I've picked this for 2 reasons. One, to slightly annoy people.
That's so unlike you, Duncan.
I know. Because no one would put this as number 1 on a list of Tom Hanks films, I don't think. But secondly, it's so little seen, and I don't know where you can watch it. My number 1 is
what's
Joe.
The point?
My number 1 is Joe versus the Volcano. So this is another one with Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan.
Right.
But it's kind of a fantasy adventure. It's very strange. It looks like a Terry Gilliam film, but it's not. Tom Hanks plays a worker in a strange factory who ends up going on a voyage to throw himself into a volcano to appease the gods of a small island, and on the way meets Meg Ryan. You have to watch it because it is so clever visually. Luke, from a filmmaking point of view.
Why do you keep saying that? Is that because I did 3 years of film and TV?
Yes, visually, it is incredible.
Right,
it's a really, really clever film. It got slated on release, and it was a huge disaster. And I think that's because everyone was expecting it's Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan. It's going to be another lovey-dovey, Sleepless in Seattle, You've Got Mail kind of film, and it wasn't. It was this weird fantasy adventure. But it is really good. I urge you to find it and see it.
Okay. It sounds a bit crazy, but I'm up for it.
Yeah. Okay.
Where's Forrest Gump?
We will come to that in a couple of minutes with some other people's suggestions. Welcome back to Monday Movies here on Wycombe Sound 106.6 FM. What's funny, everybody?
You sound like a Dalek for 2 seconds. It was very odd.
Did I? Oh, I'm sorry.
It's very strange.
It's technical issues. I can't help it. It's nothing to do with me. Still to come, we've got what we've been watching and some film news, but we're going to go back to my top 10, my Tom Hanks top 10, because people have been in touch to say, what the...
I agree with them.
Well, we'll come to your thoughts in a moment, you two young gentlemen. Amy has said, I would personally put The Terminal and You've Got Mail in there. But he's such a good actor, it's hard to put them in a top 10. Terminal didn't get in there because I thought it was a schmaltzy mess, really. And You've Got Mail.
I like The Terminal.
Good grief, you've seen a film.
That was very quick of you.
And You've Got Mail. I already had 2 Tom Hanks, Meg Ryan films in, so I thought 3 would be a bit too much, and that was probably the lesser of the 3. Nick Keir says The Money Pit, bloomin' hilarious film with Shelley Long and produced by Steven Spielberg. Yes, but I think Bachelor Party pipped Money Pit.
Right.
For me. But there we go. Tony Smith says, how come Forrest Gump didn't make the list?
It's the question we're all asking, to be honest.
Simply because I hate Forrest Gump with a passion. I've only seen it once when it came out in cinemas. I went to see it, and I've never watched it again. I couldn't bear it. I had a problem from the start with the line... you know that if there's one little thing in a film, sometimes a film can get away with anything and you just let it go. But sometimes there's just one thing in a film and you just think, no, I'm sorry.
What was that?
It was life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. Well, you do, because there's a piece of card in there with what each chocolate is. So you do know exactly what you're going to get. Life is not like a box of chocolates.
Yeah, I agree, Colin.
Colin, you're not supposed to be on yet. Go away.
No, he's gone.
So I hate Forrest Gump. Defend it, Toby.
Wow. Well,
it's all on you, Toby. Off you go.
I disagree.
Moving on from that.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think I can speak for most people here. To be honest, I can't remember the timeline. I'm guessing Big came out before Forrest Gump. Is that correct?
Way before. Yes,
oh, okay. Yes. I mean, as far as I knew, Forrest Gump was his kind of breakout, but I've got that timeline completely mixed up. So, scrap that. But no, I disagree. I think Forrest Gump was a great film, and it, he played such a great character in it, and I watched it at quite a young age and really, really enjoyed it. And I think, again, I haven't seen it for ages, but
when did you
really
watch it, Duncan? Were you young or?
I watched it at the cinema when it came out, so that would have been in 1994. I would have been 20.
1994, I was born. So,
so before he it's way into his career. So he had already made. By the time he made Forrest Gump, he had already made Splash, Bachelor Party, The Money Pit, Dragnet, Big, Turner and Hooch, The Burbs, Joe versus a Volcano, Bonfire of the Vanities, Sleepless in Seattle, A League of Their Own, and won an Oscar for Philadelphia.
Right. Okay.
Wow. So he was already an Oscar-winning actor when he did Forrest Gump.
And then they think, oh well, he might have a few bad movies, but no, Forrest Gump just straight up there.
You're in a group by
you're in a minority.
Yeah, on Rotten Tomatoes, 95%. Said that they liked it. Do you think higher or lower for the reviewers?
Oh, reviewers will be lower.
Yeah, 70%.
Yeah,
but then you're a reviewer, so there we go.
Yeah. No, I just found it.
So what would you give it out of 10?
5. I remember it being schmaltzy. it's just overly sentimental, and yeah, I just really didn't like it.
Is it because it's a happy film?
I don't think it is a particularly happy film.
Really, no.
It's quite a miserable film. It's like overly quite miserable, and all because and it's I don't know. There's something about. Obviously, there's something wrong with him, and I'm not sure if you watch the film again now, I'm not sure if you're going to have sort of PC issues with it.
Right.
I'm not sure because I haven't seen it for 30 years.
Maybe you should watch it.
Maybe. All right. Do you know what I'm going to do?
You're going to watch it.
I'm going to add it to my list.
Add it to your list.
I'll write it down in my book now.
That's very
there we
nice.
go. Added to my list. But there we go. So, yes, if you've got any suggestions, do let us know. Oh, Paul Harrod said no big. No, sorry.
No.
Splash made it instead of big. But big is great.
Would that be number 11?
Yeah.
Castaway?
Castaway I'm not a big fan of either. I like it, but I don't think it's in his top 10 personally.
Okay. And Toy Story.
Yeah,
Toy Story,
Yeah.
I just didn't include animation because
fair enough.
I feel if somebody else had voiced that role, it probably would have done just as well.
Oh, I disagree with that.
Yeah, I disagree massively with it. I think there's for example,
For example,
what was the animated film recently? Sonic.
Frozen.
Sonic. No,
Yes.
Sonic. You said it'd been better if it was Ryan Reynolds.
only because I didn't like the guy who did it. But now
Exactly,
you've
but you might not have liked the guy that was-
No. But now you've told me that the guy who does Sonic sounds exactly like Sonic.
Yeah, but I still think Ryan Reynolds would have done a better
So
job.
that's why. Yeah. But anyway, let's not argue.
I'm right. Okay, Toby.
Okay.
Off the top of your head, Duncan, if you had
Yes.
to choose an actor to replace Woody's voice
Ooh, good
for
question.
Toy Story, who would you pick?
Oh crikey! Off the top of my head,
Ryan
Yeah.
Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds for every animated role. It would be Ryan Reynolds. No,
Seriously, though.
Just quickly, we don't take up the whole show here.
I'm just thinking if it depends what it would make because he was playing
Well,
a
at the
cowboy.
same time.
Okay, if it's I don't know how old Clint Eastwood would have been to play a cowboy.
Okay.
Okay, very different approach.
Yeah.
What?
I know. I think.
Casting a cowboy.
I think.
Well, it's not in my top 10. All right,
Okay.
you both had your chances to do a Tom Hanks top 10 and you failed. Instead, you had a top 6 and something else. So anyway, if you would like to disagree, you can
Please
get in
do.
contact via all the usual methods. Should we get on to
What we've been watching. Yes.
who'd like to start?
And, can I just say one thing very quickly?
Of course, you can.
I don't think we talked about this. I think we were meant to talk about it a week ago or 2 weeks ago. Normal People. Did you watch it?
I've watched one episode. We were going to talk about it this week because I thought I would have watched more,
Oh,
but I will have.
But why haven't you? You've got
here we
nothing to
go.
do.
I will have watched it by next week.
Okay. Welcome
did-
to the club. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome to the club. Yeah.
Yeah, because I do this all the time. don't I?
Okay.
I have watched one episode though, and we're going to continue. So
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
okay.
Brilliant.
Well, let's-
I'll talk about that
So,
next week.
on the same subject, then, Toby, have you watched that episode of Black Mirror that
Well,
I've been telling you to watch for 6 weeks?
Touche.
No, I don't think it was called that.
I've,
Didn't he play
I've-
Poirot?
I've got the name of it right here next to me, and that would have been watched.
What's the name of it?
San Junipero.
Okay, very good. All right.
Lovely.
Well, we
So
look
I
forward to
will-
that next week.
So Normal People and San Junipero next week.
Excellent.
Nice.
Okay, good.
Brilliant.
Who would like to go first?
Go on. You can start as it's your show.
Okay, I'll start first. We'll start with Alex Rider. This is a new show, 8-part series on Amazon Prime. Do either of you know who Alex Rider is?
Yes.
I
Do.
yeah.
Yeah.
I used to read the books growing up. I don't know.
okay.
Did you, Luke?
I need to look at his books, but I'm pretty sure I did. I think I'm getting
Yeah,
confused with
it
two
was-
people.
It was Stormbreaker.
Yes.
And it was Snakehead.
Yes,
Point-
I have.
Point Blank.
Point Blank. Yeah.
Point Blank. Sorry.
Yes.
Then one of them
I-
was Snakehead, and yeah.
Toby, to
But-
answer your question, yes.
Okay, so this is Alex Rider, an 8-part series based on the novels by Anthony Horowitz. They've taken the first 2 novels, Stormbreaker and Point Blank, and melded them together to make this 8-part series. Obviously, there was a film called Stormbreaker a few years ago with Alex Pettifer, who played Alex Rider, and that was supposed to lead to a franchise, but it didn't do very well, mainly because Alex Pettifer in the title role was a personality vacuum. So now they've done a TV series.
Wait, hang on. What do you mean?
We had no personality. There was a vacuum.
Right, okay.
Now they've done an 8-part series on Amazon Prime. This stars Otto Farrant as Alex Rider. If you don't know the story, Alex Rider is a teenager. He is living. His parents are dead. He's living with his uncle. His uncle is mysteriously killed. It turns Alex Rider discovers that his uncle used to be a special agent with his not CIA, MI6. He was a spy, and he becomes a spy to find out what happened to. He becomes recruited by the same agency to become a spy to find out what happened to his uncle. So that was the story of the first film. And the story of the first 2 books. This is taking the first 2 books where he has to become an errant teenager so that he can be put into the point blank school in the French Alps to find out what's going on because the MI6 think it's a front for something else.
Okay.
So that's the story. It's done over 8 episodes. They've aged him up because I think in the books, Alex Rider is about 13. In this, he's now been made 16, so he's slightly older. They've obviously thrown a lot of money at it because everything looks very good. The problem with it is it's just a bit... I mean, I've watched 3 and a bit episodes now, and if I'm being honest, if I was a 15-year-old kid, I wouldn't have got through the first episode. Because we're 3 episodes in and he's not even reached the school yet. He's not got any gadgets. There's been no action. It's all been talk. So it's kind of falling between these 2 stools because they obviously want it to appeal to kids who read the books, but they also want it to appeal to adults who used to read the books.
Yeah, okay.
And because it's got to appeal to the kids, they can't have too much blood and guts and violence.
Yeah.
And because it's got to appeal to the adults, it can't be too childish. So it ends up somewhere in the middle and being neither and being quite lifeless. And to match Stormbreaker, the film, Otto Farrant in the title role is a huge personality vacuum. I mean, he has no personality whatsoever.
But then do you think that because you're not enjoying it?
No, from the first 5 minutes, I was like, "Oh crikey, he's going to be Alex Rider, is he?"
Right.
Oh,
are you sure that's not just the character?
I mean, I've not read the books, but I was expecting a young James Bond. That's what I thought.
So
this
more
was
of a
gonna be
Kingsman.
Like. Yes, my other half said this is a bit like Kingsman, isn't it? And I thought, yeah, only not entertaining.
Just not.
I mean, we are going to finish it, but
you don't want to.
It's really hard work, and I can't imagine 15, 16-year-old kids sitting through this when they could watch Kingsman or James Bond. But anyway, if you fancy giving it a go, it's 8 episodes. It's called Alex Rider, and it is on Amazon Prime now.
Very nice.
Okay, over to you, Toby.
Well, I'll recap. I rewatched Whiplash, which is one of my favourite films. The film about jazz drumming, and he.
Are you a drummer?
Yes.
Oh.
So that's probably why I like it so much. But it's Miles Teller. The first film I saw Miles Teller in, and he's an amazing actor, and he plays a jazz drummer who gets into the best music school, in the States, in New York, and he gets chosen to be in the main best band, which is run by J.K. Simmons, who won an Oscar for his performance, and he absolutely deserved it. I thought the scenes with them two are so intense, and J.K. Simmons absolutely smashed that role. An Oscar for his performance. And even I've seen it before. Watching those scenes, it's still intense. It's still shocking. It's crazy. But I highly recommend it. Definitely.
It is very, very good, and it's directed by Damien Chazelle, who went on to make La La Land and his current series about jazz music. The Eddie is on Netflix now as well.
So,
how did you watch Whiplash?
I bought the DVD because it was
how very retro of you.
How very retro.
I know. Well, because I went on Amazon because it was on Netflix for a while, and then they took it off, and then
they do that. It's very annoying.
Yes, and then it was on Amazon, but then I had to sign up to another thing called Star Play or something. I don't know if you've heard of this.
Yes, I
It's
have.
another thing through Amazon.
Yes, it's a separate platform. Yes.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not doing that. So, and the
Okay.
DVD was £1. So
There you go.
Bargain.
So I bought that.
Okay, so that's Whiplash, which is available on DVD for £1. Go grab one now.
Pound.
Luke,
Exactly.
tell us something you've watched.
Pick one or two, Duncan.
Number 2.
I have watched Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, which is the sequel to the 2014 film Maleficent, starring Angelina Jolie as Maleficent. I had to do a quick Wikipedia read of the first one to remember what happened, because I watched it, but it's been so long that I can't actually remember what happened. And I actually listened to Monday Movies as well, from when we spoke about it.
Well, that's the best place to get all
the
your
best place to
information
listen to
about films. Yes.
And I remember I really enjoyed the first one. It was one of their first live action ones, wasn't it? That Disney did.
Yes, it was. I think. Yeah.
So I was really surprised at how good it was and loved it. This one, not as much of a fan of it as I was the first one. Maleficent at the end sort of is, everyone loves her. She's not evil anymore. And then this one, it's sort of like, has that all just been forgotten? I thought it was really good, but just not as good as the first one.
Okay.
But I think all the acting was very good in it. The CGI was very good. The special effects, because a lot of those characters are 100% CGI, or the wings are very obviously CGI.
The wings aren't real.
The wings aren't real. No.
Wow.
So I thought the special effects were really, really good in it. And yeah, you saw the castle for ages when it was outside.
Yes,
your office.
outside my door. Yes, it was.
Office, not your door.
Okay, Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, which is available on Sky Cinema and also on Disney Plus.
Yeah, I think I would give it a 6.
Oh, so not that
6
great.
or 7.
6 or 7. Let's go for 6.5.
6.7.
Okay. And what was the other film that you watched, Luke?
Oh, haven't you got another one? I thought we were going round in a circle.
No, because I know you're going to be quick.
Oh.
And we haven't got long.
Okay.
Go on.
The other film that I watched was Men in Black International, which is the 4th film in the franchise and is kind of a reboot. There are some familiar characters, but that portray their roles that were either in the second or third. And this is where we all fall out, because I really enjoyed it.
Oh my god!
I
Really?
really enjoyed the film.
I haven't seen this, so I can't.
Oh, do you know what you should do?
To your list. I was sat there
Don't
going.
add it to your list.
I was sat there going, oh, we're gonna have such an argument on Monday, because I know Duncan hated it.
Oh, I thought it was terrible. Apart from Camille Nanjiani as the tiny little creature thing.
Yes, he's brilliant. The other bit is because of Chris Hemsworth in the lead role, and Tessa Thompson.
Yes.
Who obviously they were filming Thor Ragnarok when they auditioned for the part, which is cool. But there's one part in there where Thor reaches for a tiny hammer. Oh, sorry, Chris Hemsworth even reaches for a tiny hammer, but does it as Thor, and it's very funny. But I really enjoyed it. I thought the special effects in it were very, very good.
Oh,
Toby, I think you should watch it and settle this argument.
I have to say, I remember watching the trailer and thinking, nah, don't think I'll like that. But
well, good judgment.
There's two very different opinions here. So
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
You can be the deciding vote,
Yeah.
but I thought it was a huge waste of time and talent.
Oh, I mean, I wouldn't say it was
deep.
I wouldn't say it was Chris Hemsworth's best role at all, but I thought I really, really enjoyed it.
Okay. All right. Well, Luke, you're going to have... Toby, you're going to have the deciding vote. You're going to have to watch it.
Okay. Right.
So put that to the top of the list.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So you can, see who you agree with. Me, obviously. We'll have some more of what we've been watching, and we'll talk to Colin in just a moment.
She sounds so much better than that person that was doing the breakfast show last week.
Oh, just leave it out.
Yeah, okay.
Welcome back to Monday Movies here on Wycombe Sound 106.6 FM. We've got 15 minutes to go after the news at 8 o'clock. Colin will be here for Chatsworth, and he joins us now. Hello, Colin.
Hooray, Colin's here! Hurrah! Colin.
Hello, thank you very much.
Good to have a professional broadcaster on the show for at least 5 minutes. How are you, sir?
I'm very well, and how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Very well.
I'm still struggling to accept it's June.
I know,
Is
it's
it?
crazy. Yes.
Crikey. Okay. I didn't realise. Oh, yeah. It
8
is.
days
June.
in now as well. So, over a week of it we've had.
We're nearly halfway through a year that has been a disaster.
Yeah. It hasn't been a year, really.
In fact, it's got worse since we spoke last week.
Hasn't it?
Yeah.
We thought last week it couldn't get any worse, and guess what? America said, "Hold my beer. We're going to make it worse."
Watch this.
Yeah, watch what we can do. Anyway, Colin, what's coming up on Chatsworth this evening?
Well, we have some top comedy. Well, hopefully top comedy. We'll be speaking to stand-up comedian and comedy writer Paul Carenza, who you might not recognise his name, but he's written on the likes of Miranda and Not Going Out, which are two of my favourite shows. So he's performing at the St Andrews Bookshop Comedy Festival, which is on 3 nights in a couple of weeks. And we'll be chatting to Steve from St Andrews Bookshop as well to talk about what it's been like putting this online comedy festival together. Is someone hoovering?
I was going to say, I can hear hoovering in the background.
Oh, it keeps going in and out now. That's gone. Oh, what?
Toby?
It's on me.
Oh, there you go. That's sorted. Go.
And also we'll be hearing from Clive Woodward, not the rugby coach, but the actor, locally based. He's doing an online show, which he's recorded at Bolter's Lock for Northern Farm.
Is he related to Edward?
Edward Woodward? No. But there's a funny thing about that. If you take the D's out, it's just Ewa Woo Woo.
Yeah, I thought Edward Woodward was a famous actor. I thought maybe he was related to him.
No, Clive Woodward. He's been in film and theatre and TV and stuff.
Oh, okay.
No, he might be. I don't know.
Well, why don't you ask him?
Yeah, ask Colin. Come on.
We'll try and find out for you.
You're
Another
into
Woodwards.
it. Come on, be professional.
Where's your research? Come on.
Yeah, come on.
I'll add that at the end.
Okay, good.
Correct. Colin, Chatsworth is here after the news at 8 o'clock. Sorry, I didn't know if you. I suddenly realised. Well, I didn't realise if you'd finished, and I suddenly panicked that I was cutting you
vacuuming
off.
as well. The vacuuming's been done as well. That's good.
Yeah.
Excellent stuff. Good. Okay. Well, we look forward to listening.
Enjoy the rest of your programme.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Colin. Colin will be here
Thank you.
after the news at 8 o'clock. Okay, what we've been watching. Toby.
I've also seen Ozark season 2. I think I'm on the last episode now. But I watched it, the first season, a long time ago, and then I kind of just left it, forgot about it, and then came back to it, and it's all kicking off. Because you've seen all 3 seasons, haven't you?
I have finished all 3, yes.
Okay.
If you think it's kicking off now, you wait until season 3.
Oh dear. I mean, it's just, I think the story is really, really great, and I think the characters, I think one of my favourite characters is actually Ruth, who plays the owner of the strip club, and she's just very sassy. She just doesn't deal with anyone. You know, she won't take any
Rubbish.
Rubbish.
Yeah, rubbish. Thank you. Yeah, she won't take it. So yeah, she's probably one of my favourite characters, just because some of her lines are absolutely great. And no, it's Jason Bateman, who's one of my favourite actors, and I can't remember her name.
Laura Linney.
Thank you. But it's set in the Ozark, and there's a lot of cartel and money laundering, and it's very good. I think I had one friend who really enjoyed it, and then I had another friend who got bored of it.
Oh.
So you have to, the first few episodes, it takes a while to kind of learn to get into it. But once you get into it, it really does kick off. And, you know, one episode, something bad happens, and then it kind of gets resolved, and then something else terrible happens at the end of the next episode. It's just like a domino effect. It's just getting worse and worse and worse, really. So because it was for people who don't know, it's about an accountant who finds out he's been working for the mob, and he has to relocate his family to the Ozarks so that he can launder money for the mob until he's paid back everything that the mob boss is owed. And because it was about a normal person doing illegal things to help his family, when it first started 3 years ago, I think it got a lot of unfair criticism as being called Breaking Bad Light. Because obviously Breaking Bad was about a man who was doing something illegal to help his family. And I think it suffered because of that for the first few episodes. But once you get into it, it becomes its own thing. And by season 3, I mean, there's the last episode of season 3, your jaw will literally hit the floor. I think I nearly dropped a glass of something I was holding during the last episode of season 3. No, I'm excited. I mean, if I already think it's kicking off, and you said next season's going to kick off, then I'm looking forward to it. But I would highly recommend it. You've got to stick with it, but it is very good, and it looks very gloomy.
Yes,
as well.
it's got a very distinctive.
Was that the
blue
weather forecast
tint.
or?
No,
Yeah.
every scene has
Yeah.
it's all filmed in blues and greens.
Oh,
basically.
Yeah, no, I think it's been color graded.
Yeah.
That way. Yeah.
What I was going to say about Maleficent
Oh, we're going back to that.
was that a lot of it is very, very hard to see
Oh, really?
because it's all just at night. And I was just like,
Oh,
who is that? I can't actually tell.
were you watching on a TV or a laptop?
On a TV.
Oh, okay. Has it been dusted recently?
Yeah, it has been dusted, yes.
Maybe. Okay. So that is Ozark. 3 seasons. They're all available to stream on Netflix now. Streaming on Amazon Prime now are the first 2 seasons of Jack Ryan. So Jack Ryan is based on the character created by Tom Clancy. He was played by Alec Baldwin in The Hunt for Red October, by Harrison Ford in Patriot Games and Clear and Present Danger, and Ben Affleck in Clear and Present Danger. So now he's been reincarnated as a TV character in 2 8-part seasons. He's a CIA analyst. So the films make him out to be kind of a James Bond action man, when in fact in the books he's just an analyst who analyzes data and tells people where to go. So this is closer to the books, so I'm told. He's played by John Krasinski. As an analyst, he still travels the world, but he's more in a background position and other people are doing the fighting. The first season is about some people from, I think it's Saudi Arabia, who want to unleash a virus. Very, what's the word? Topical for now.
Ironic.
Yes, want to unleash a virus in America, and he has to put a stop to it. The first couple of episodes are really good, and then it gets bogged down in detail and becomes very talky, and there's a lot less action. I finished the first season, and I won't be watching the next one.
Oh dear.
Oh wow, really?
The first 2 episodes I thought were really good, really got you into it, and then the next 6 really took a long time to get nowhere very fast, which was a shame because he's very good in it. He's very good as Jack Ryan, but I just think it wasted an opportunity. It's created by Carlton Cuse, who did Lost and the TV version of Bates Motel, the Psycho spin-off, which are both very good. But this was just, I don't know, there was just a spark was missing. There was a spark missing, and I missed the spark.
Oh dear.
But if you want to watch it, there are 2 seasons, and they're both available now on Amazon Prime. And the last thing that we've all been watching is on Netflix, and it's the new comedy from the creators of The Office, starring Steve Carell and John Malkovich, and it's Space Force.
Yes.
Luke, tell us about Space Force.
So Space Force is interesting because I started watching this going, is this based on kind of a true story? Because it works on a central group of people tasked with establishing the 6th branch of the United States Armed Forces, the United States Space Force. Steve Carell plays Mark Ned, who is the first general on Space Force. He's just been promoted. He thinks he's going to be taking over from the Air Force, but actually he's going to be fronting the United States Space Force, which is an actual thing, which started in 2019, and there are some hints towards it as well.
Yes, it is. I think the creators, I forgot his name, Steve Carell is one of the co-creators. Greg Daniels is the other guy who created it. I think they saw the announcement of Space Force and phoned each other up and said, this would make a show.
This would be good.
And that's how they created the show. So what did you think of it, Toby?
Well, I've only seen the first 2 episodes. I haven't actually finished it. But
right.
I think it's okay.
Yeah.
It's not as funny as I thought it would be.
It's
not bad, but it's different to what I thought it would be, and it's okay.
I think
I'm going to be honest.
The trailer does a much better job. Because I said last week, the trailer's amazing, I really want to see that. And then started watching it going, but then do you think it's more for like an American audience that liked The American Office and things like that?
I'm not sure. I've finished it, so I've watched all
Right,
10
okay.
episodes. And a friend of mine, Warren, once
Hi,
of this
Warren.
parish, he's watching it. He hasn't finished it, and what he said, I agree with. He said he is enjoying it, but if it didn't have the big stars in it, he probably wouldn't have carried on.
Yeah.
If it was unknowns in it, and you weren't getting the laughs, you wouldn't have carried. But because it's Steve Carell and John Malkovich and Ben Schwartz, you're going to carry on watching it. I did enjoy it. I chuckled. I didn't, laugh out loud. I don't think.
No.
It's not a belly laugh show, but I did find it past time.
I just feel like it's lacking something.
Yes,
I don't
think
know
it's
what
lacking-
it is.
It's lacking big laughs.
Well, yes.
And I think it's because, I don't know, it's because they're trying to make something funny out of something serious, but the serious thing is actually quite funny.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what they do. President Trump is doing it funnier.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're on to, they can't win.
No.
But I watched it all the way to the end and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's not a bad show. I mean, it's not terrible.
It's not terrible.
But it's okay.
Steve Carell is very good at doing the buttoned up thing. And as long as they keep Steve Carell and John Malkovich on opposite sides clashing, which they have to, they keep coming together and agreeing at the end of certain episodes, but all the way through they are clashing, although I think right at the end they are in agreement on most things. And if there's going to be a second season, that has to change because there has to be that dynamic to keep it going.
I think it's one of those things where the trailer looks better than the actual show.
Yeah, I mean, I will continue watching it.
Yeah,
I think my hopes are a bit high. I think maybe my expectations are a bit high. So
okay, well,
it's okay.
I think it's worth a go. They're only 25-minute episodes or 30-minute episodes, and there's only 10 of them. So,
and if you've got Netflix, you've probably watched everything else. So
exactly,
might as well watch that as well.
All episodes are streaming on Netflix now. Next week, we've already decided what we're going to be watching. We're going to be reviewing Normal People.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Well, you're going to be.
And also, there's 2 films which we're going to watch and review because one's on Netflix and one's on Disney+. Defy Bloods, Spike Lee's new film, is dropped on Netflix on Friday, and Artemis Fowl is on Disney+ on Friday. So that's what we're going to be reviewing next week.
Lovely.
Okay.
Very quickly, because we haven't got a lot of time left for film news, but cinemas, believe it or not, are planning on opening in 4 weeks' time.
How?
It's quite scary. Cineworld made a statement to The Guardian. They said Cineworld currently anticipates that government restrictions related to cinemas will be lifted in each of its territories by July. Subject to this and confirmation of the schedule for film releases, Cineworld anticipates the reopening of all its cinemas in July. The statement does not include specifics on social distancing measures that they expect to see in their cinemas, but it did explain they have put in place procedures to ensure a safe and enjoyable cinema experience for its employees and customers.
They're going to have to have like one screen on, and then halfway through that film there'll be another screen opens.
I'll just go through View and Odeon, then we can go into specifics in the podcast extras.
Lovely.
View Cinemas has confirmed it's aiming to open on July the 4th with various measures in place as well as enhanced cleaning and employee protection protocols. Their company statement says that measures include physically isolating family groups through their online booking system and staggering film times to maintain social distancing and operate responsibly. The boss, Tim Richards, told The Telegraph that the company has taken deep cleaning protocols from when the SARS outbreak hit the company's cinemas in Taiwan in 2002. And Odeon... Oh, guess what? My computer went wrong just then.
Oh, no.
There we go. Odeon hasn't officially announced its reopening plans, but the chain have confirmed to Deadline.com that it wants to reopen everything in early July. Whether this is the July 4th date remains to be seen, but the company added that reopening depends on government regulations and having a strong lineup of films in place for our guests to enjoy. They said, we're working closely with national cinema associations and governments as we introduce additional health and safety protocols across all of our sites. So it looks like they are all looking to open by the first week of July as if they're desperate to be open
there's
for when
nothing on.
Tenet is released on July 17th.
I was about to say Christopher Nolan's threatened them.
That's what it is.
You better open.
Every other film has moved its release date. Tenet has been on July 17th since Christmas, and he has refused, and Warner Brothers have refused to move this date. And it's as though they're all rushing to get it done.
What's on after Tenet, though?
Mulan is on the 24th.
Okay.
So there's 2 big films for 2 weeks.
And then
in July.
what?
Well, I'm not sure. We'll have to have a look at that next week. But
Okay. Or
that's
the
what they're
extra.
hoping to do.
I mean, to be fair, he said he wasn't going to move it, and now he might not have to.
Well, no, looks like he was right, but we'll see.
Duncan, we've got to speed up. Come on.
You've got to speed up. That's why. Yeah, okay. Anyway, that's it for this week. Thank you very much for listening. There'll be more on the podcast, which will be available on the usual podcast supplier later in the week. Toby, Luke, thank you very much.
Thank you, Duncan.
Colin is up next with Chatsworth at 8 o'clock, and we'll be back next week, where we'll be looking at Normal People, Artemis Fowl, and Da Five Bloods. But now, with the time approaching 8 o'clock, it's time to go over to the Sky Newsroom for the latest national and international news headlines. You're listening to Wycombe Sound online, on Radio Player, and on 106.6 FM.
See, look, I just don't care. I just either lots of cream,
Oh,
lots
shut
of jam.
up! Shut
it
up!
just doesn't matter. No,
How can you still be talking about it?
in an hour.
Anyway, that was a show.
Good. Flew by
Wasn't it?
tonight,
was.
didn't it?
Yeah,
Lots of content, which
Yeah.
is nice.
Shock.
Very good. Lots of reviews and loads of stuff for next week.
Yeah.
I forget, Toby, have you got Disney Plus?
No.
Oh, so you won't be watching Artemis Fowl.
No.
Okay, but
He's
you will be
fallen
watching.
foul to it.
That doesn't work. But you will be
Funny-
watching Da Five Bloods.
Yes.
Good.
I will be.
Excellent
And
stuff.
the funny thing about Artemis Fowl is, again, I tried to get into the books as a kid, but I just never could get into them.
I've
They're
not.
too small. There's no door.
Yeah, exactly. I just couldn't fit in. No.
We're going in head first. I mean, that's a terrible way to go.
Honestly, I think I tried reading it about 3 times, and I just couldn't get through it. I just couldn't get into it.
Well, we will let you know what we think of the film version.
I haven't read or heard of character, so all new.
Exciting stuff. That and Normal People next week, and Da Five Bloods,
Da Five
Spike Lee's new film, which premieres on Netflix on Friday. We were talking about cinema openings, and Toby asked me off air about Empire. They're not listed on the news article, and the funny thing is, I just told him, whenever I drive past the Empire Cinema in Wycombe at the moment, it actually looks like it's been gutted and has closed down rather than just closed.
I hope not.
I'm sure it hasn't.
No.
That's my
kind of what it looks like.
Go-to. That's my kind of go-to.
Yeah. So a question for you two: if the cinemas open on July 6th as they're planning to,
No.
will you be? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
I feel like it's just too early. If someone's got, they don't realise they have it.
But what if we say you're going to the cinema, you're going to watch Christopher Nolan's new film, and there'll only be 4 people in that cinema?
But then what about if someone sneezes? It doesn't matter if you're 2 meters away. If it gets into the aircon.
Yeah, but if you're in Sainsbury's, that's the same.
Well, I've not been in Sainsbury's.
No, I know you haven't left the confines of your house, but normal people have. So me and Toby will be going.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go. Yeah, I'm sure they'll put in.
I mean, I don't know how they're going to.
I think it's too early.
I mean, if there's 100 seats,
Yeah.
I reckon they're going to fit 25 people max.
See,
Yeah.
but then
So.
if you think about Cineworld,
Yes.
they're going to have to cut that in half. So because you're going to have to, I reckon what they'll do is, so if in Cineworld Wycombe, if you're listening to this not in Wycombe, they've got a corridor and they've got like a T shape of screens. So I reckon it will be a one way round. So if you want to go to a screen, you have to go up the left hand side and then round to get.
No,
to the
I
screen.
think Cineworld have said that they're going to do something with the screening time. So
Okay.
I think they'll make sure that when a film is going in, when the film's going to start, only one film of the however many they're showing is starting at that time.
Right.
And when a film comes out, only one screen is coming out at a time, and that's at a different time than that screen's coming in.
So a lot of spreadsheet work.
Someone in each cinema has got to. Yeah, they're
Good
gonna have
luck,
to do
managers.
they're going to have to do some maths.
Yeah.
And to make sure. But yeah, and I think every screen will have cordoned off area to go in and out.
It will just mean that you're not going to have you're not going to have a film on like 4 times. It'll probably be on like twice.
Yes, because each screen will have to be deep cleaned between screenings. So
but then what about like getting food and drink? Because were they going to have one person getting food and drink at a time? Because it's
getting food and drink will be the same as people queuing up now at coffee shops.
But do you think it will? Because in Cineworld and Wycombe there's 3 lines.
Oh no, Cineworld and Wycombe there's 5 lines.
5 lines. Do you think
what they should do, and what I hope they do and keep in place, is one snake line. Because whenever I go there and I stand in with the shortest line, it ends up taking the longest time to get, and it should just be one line.
Like they do at Empire.
Yeah, and I think they'll do that, and then they'll keep it, which is good.
Let's hope so.
But yes, it's going to be
interesting.
I mean, I don't go, as I was saying to Toby, I don't go in the evenings when it's busy. When I go, there's normally only 3 people in the cinema anyway. So for me, it's not going to make a huge difference unless everybody starts going at the times that I go because they think it's going to be quiet.
But then people are going back to work. So things are opening as of today. Schools go back.
Yeah, but I normally go at 10 o'clock on a Saturday morning when it's empty, and you'll probably have a lot of people thinking, oh, do you know what? We won't go tonight. We'll go at 10 o'clock in the morning when it's quiet.
I don't think a lot of people are going to go back. It will be very interesting to see how many people actually go to the cinema. Because and there's nothing. I mean, who really wants to go Tenant? Do you think Duncan does? But other than you,
no. Tenet is going to be a huge. It was going to be one of the biggest films of the year.
But do you think now people are going to be like, eh?
No, I think people are still going to go and see it. Yeah,
it's going to be very interesting.
I think it will have a little drop off.
Well, bye, Duncan.
Definitely.
Go on, carry on, Toby.
No, I was just going to say I agree. I think it will have a little drop off.
Yeah.
It definitely won't be as many people watching it as there would have been if this didn't happen. This pandemic didn't happen, so I think it will have a little drop off. But I think it will still be.
Do you think they're going to have? Do you think they'll have longer runs?
Well, they'll have to, because if not only can they. They can't have as many showings, and they can't have as many people in each showing as they normally would. So, I mean, the Tenet could be on in the cinema for 6 months.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't got anything else to put on for 6 months
to get everybody in who wants to see it.
So we've got Tenet, Mulan a couple of weeks after.
Tenet, we've got Mulan, we've got Black Widow, Bond.
Yeah. So how far is
Quiet Place 2?
Quiet Place 2.
How much is the gap between them all? So Tenet's out first, then Mulan. You said a couple of weeks after. Then is it Black Widow?
I don't know if they've redone all their.
Because do you think Marvel are going to go? I would imagine Marvel are going to think, well, let's put Black Widow on after the new year.
No, they won't do that.
No, okay.
Let's have a look. Tenet is on July 17th.
Right
now. Mulan is on the 24th. Summerland, which isn't a big film, is also on the 24th. SpongeBob movie is on July 31st. Oh, wow. I'm going to go and see that. That was a big hit, the first one. That is a big film. Excuse me. The one and only Ivan, which is a big animation, is on August the 14th. The Secret Garden is August the 14th. Wonder Woman is August the 14th. Bill and Ted, August 21st. A Quiet Place, September the 4th. Blithe Spirit, Dream Horse, and Sound of Metal are all September the 4th. Conjuring, September the 11th. The King's Man, September the 16th. So there's a film every week.
Yeah.
Candyman, September 25th. I just don't know
if next month is... And, especially with what's been happening over the last couple of weeks, we might be in the middle of a second peak by then.
Well, yes.
Tenet will make...
Tenet. Love the way you're saying it.
How do you say it?
Tenet. I think it's Tenet.
Tenet, sorry. Tenet,
yeah.
Sorry.
No, I like Tenet.
God, Toby, you should be.
I like Tenet.
Tenant? What is it?
No,
David Tennant.
Tenet.
Think Shakespeare.
Weird. Tenet. Surely that, if this does go to plan, that movie will actually make history. It'll be the first film back in the cinemas after the pandemic.
In this country?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, cinemas in other countries are already open.
Yeah,
Iceland
true,
are all
true.
open. A lot of Asian countries are open. So, yeah. We seem to forget. We just think of England and America, and we forget that other countries are, back
coronavirus free.
New Zealand now are coronavirus free, and they're all reopening everything this week because they've got no new cases and they've got no deaths and no one's in hospital. So,
that's the problem. We've still got lots of people in hospital. I mean, it's only Monday, so it's only 55 today, but it is a Monday, and it always takes a couple of days after the weekend. There's still a chance we might have a second peak. I just think that July is too soon. I think maybe more the end of middle of August, September, when we can see if there is a second peak. What's it? I don't expect you to know the answer to this question, but I'm still going to ask it.
Okay.
In New Zealand, are cinemas open now, or were they open beforehand? Because let's be honest, New Zealand have done a great job.
I don't know.
Good. I didn't think you did, but I thought it might be worth asking a question.
I think they were open. I think they're open now. I don't think they were open before.
Right.
I don't think. I'll check for you though.
Thank you. I just feel like we should follow, and I know it's working differently in each country. But they've opened everything now because they have nothing. No new cases, no new deaths. Whereas we've still got new cases and new deaths. I think it's a bit too early.
Just trying to find out some information for you.
Oh, okay.
Hold the line, caller.
Okay, Toto.
No, accept and move on. No updates, thank you. No notifications. Crikey, getting onto a website is a pain in the rear end, isn't it? According to Michael Hawkins, who's executive director of the National Association of Cinema Operators Australasia, the issue is to do with lack of available movies to screen, more than it is to do with gathering restrictions, because they presently limit group sizes to 10, increasing to 12. They've increased to 20 now, and 100 people max in the space at any one time.
So I've just looked on the
30 indie venues have reopened in New Zealand, mainly in smaller locations.
Okay. So one of the big cinemas looks like opening on the 11th of June.
Yeah,
That's
major chains are said to be eyeing a mid to late June reopening.
Yeah.
But again, it's subject to... So they're not worried about filling the cinemas.
No.
They're worried about not having films to show.
Yeah.
That is their main concern.
But again, they've done it when they've got no new cases, no new deaths, where we have still got both of those things.
Yeah.
So I just think it's just a little bit early.
In Australia, Northern Territories, they're opening cinemas on June the 5th, so they're open. And South Australia are opening their cinemas today.
And what is it like in Australia now?
Australia have very few cases.
Right.
I know more about South Australia because that's where my other half's from and the family is. They've had no deaths for a couple of weeks and they've got no new cases for 2 weeks. But what they did was they closed their borders in March.
Yeah.
Didn't let anybody in. And the quarantine that they did, the quarantine that we're doing is apparently you fly in and say, this is where I'm staying, and someone from the government might check up on you.
Yeah.
When you flew into Australia, if you did during the pandemic, you had to stay in a hotel by the airport, put there by the government, and they made sure you didn't leave.
Right.
And that's how they controlled the pandemic,
think,
and that's why they've got no cases.
I just think it's too early. Again, all of those have either got very few or none, whereas we have got more.
And after the last bank holiday and last weekend and this current weekend, it'll be interesting to see in a week's time or 2 weeks' time how that has affected and whether we do get a second peak.
And by then, cinemas will be about to open.
Yeah.
So we're having all this news. They might be forced closed again.
Yeah. So the fact is, Tenet will open on July 17th, but it just might not open here.
Yeah.
But it will definitely be open in Australia, in New Zealand, in Iceland, in Finland, all these places, South Korea, all these places that have done everything right without wanting to get too political.
You political? Surely not.
Yeah, well, let's not go there because we might get taken off air. But yeah. So we'll see.
We'll see. With everything like this pandemic, you just have to wait and see, don't you?
Wait and see.
2020, the year we waited and see to see what happened.
The way we waited and seed. Yeah. That's
good.
It, then.
That's the news.
That's the news. There was no other news. There's nothing else to talk about. Goodbye. Lovely to see you. Take care. Don't let the door hit you on the way out.
Nice. Anything else?
Anything else?
I don't know. Have we?
Toby, anything?
I don't think so. Okay.
I might watch Dora the Explorer for next week as well.
I highly recommend it.
Because again, I saw it was on Sky Cinema. Other places to buy films are available, but that's just one of them that I have. Something fell over.
Someone just fell over.
Something fell over. It's fine. Yes, I might watch that as well.
I highly recommend it. It is a surprisingly fun movie.
Yeah.
Right, bye then.
Cool.
How should we end? Song and dance?
Okay. Da, 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 da. All right.
No. All right then. Toby looks singularly unimpressed by all of that. Right. Well, we'll see you next week.
Yes,
Right.
podcast will be out at some point. I don't even.
They're listening to this. This is the podcast.
Oh yeah. Last week's
No
might.
good saying the podcast will be out. They're already listening to it.
Last week's might be out by now.
Well,
Well, if they're listening to this one, they would have got last week's one as well.
Who knows?
Oh, is last week's
I don't
one not
know.
out yet?
As of
I'll have
yet,
a
I
look.
don't
Hang
think
on.
it's out yet.
Let me have a look for you.
Or if it is, it only went up today. So apologies about that.
Oh dear, that's last week's. Let's have a look.
Should be 10.
No, episode 9. No, it's still not there.
Well, you get two for one.
It's like we're living in the past.
I know.
Cool. All right then. Well,
Good.
right.
see you next week.
See you next week.
See you
Goodbye.
next week.
See you next week.
See you next.
And see you next
See
week.
you and you.
See you and you
too.
next week.
See you
Goodbye.
next week. Goodbye.
See ya.